Hey, what's up, guys? You know, today I saw Isaac's newest video on Wotso videos trying to explain and talk about Elsa's powers, the newer ones that she got in Frozen 2. Now, he did kind of feel the same way a lot of us did. Basically felt like even though Frozen 2 did answer some questions, it gave us more questions on top of that. But there was one thing he brought up, and I even brought this up when I was doing a live stream discussion on Sunday. And that was the fact that Elsa, towards the end of the movie, the further she goes into Arthur Holland, easy for me to say, and this is being done unscripted and uncut on the fly, I should say. But the further Elsa went into Arthur Holland, if you will, the further she went in, she ended up learning the truth about, the awful truth, I should say, about what her grandfather had done. And by learning this truth and feeling the guilt and remorse that she did, she ended up freezing up into a blue ice sculpture, very similar to what Anna went through towards the end of the first film. But when one thinks about it, when they go on this journey, that's Elsa, Anna, Kristofferson, Seven, I think, Swave, Olaf. When they go on this journey, it's promoted as being mostly Elsa's journey. Learning about her past and what's going on and everything, and about her powers and why this voice is calling to her and saying, basically you have a destiny in front of you that you need to accept and achieve. Well, when one thinks about it, it's not just Elsa's journey to discover, the origin of her powers. It's also Anna's journey. Hear me out. One of the things that I think rotoscopers and Flicks and the City point out is that Anna takes on a very leadership role. And by the end of the film, it's revealed why she's taken on this role, why she was allowed to go with her sister on this journey to discover her powers and somewhat take on a leadership role in the process. Because just like Elsa was destined to become the fifth spiritual element and the connecting spirit for all the elemental spirits, as well as that part of that bridge between both the spiritual world and the human world. Just like, the journey led her to do that, the journey basically was also leading Anna to learn about her destiny as being a leader for her people and being what Elsa originally was, and that's the queen, being the Queen of Allendale, along with Kristofferson as king. And you might say, well, how is that possible? How did it end up being both, not just Elsa, but Anna's journey as well? Well, first of all, most of it was about trying to find out about Elsa's past, her powers, and all that. But the thing is, when you get towards the end of the movie, and throughout, and even though I have not watched the movie, I'm just going off information I've heard from rotoscopers, Flicks and the City, Wotso videos, which I did see today, like I said, as well as Wikipedia and Twitter and all those places. When you go off what, they're talking about when it comes to, like I said, the journey, most of it is indeed, like I said, about Elsa discovering her past. But throughout the movie, throughout that journey, Anna also shows a bit of leadership. Like, there are times she will show how strong, how much of a leader she can be. Even telling that head troll that, hey, I will watch out for my sister. I will take care of her. And that's what she tries to do throughout. It isn't until they get separated, which I guess was part of the test. Because the thing about these kind of stories is when a character has to when a character or characters have to find out the truth about who they are and what they're really destined to be, whatever supernatural force is making them do this always finds a way to make it happen in a way that, you know, helps not just them, but those along with them achieve each other's goal. And in this case of Elsa and Anna, when Elsa goes off on her own to Arthur Holland to finally find out the truth and accept her destiny and accept her destiny in her new role as this fifth element, this fifth spiritual element, as well as be that bridge, as well as, like I said, be that bridging spiritual element that brings all the element spirits together and connects them, as well as be that part of that bridge between the human and spiritual world, as thus also the guardian of the enchanted forest. You know, when she does that, like I said, after, you know, when she does that and accepts that role, even afterwards, even though she seems like now she's immortal, she's a goddess, she's become more than human, she's like a goddess-like being, she still ends up freezing into a blue ice sculpture, just like Anna did towards the end of the first film. But this is out of the guilt and remorse that she feels when she finds out the truth about her grandfather's betrayal of the Naboo people. But I want you to think about this. I want you to think about this. The moment this happens, and she sends a message to her sister telling her the truth about what happened in the past, as before she completely freezes up, and thus, as a result, Olaf, because he's connected to Elsa, you know, fades away, basically dies temporarily, if you will, because of that. Anna is now put into a position where she now has to prove herself worthy as a leader. Like, you know, she's shown she has this leadership ability. Now the spirits are saying, your sister's done what she's got to do, or your sister has accomplished what she's had to accomplish, passed her part of the test, passed her part of the journey. Now it's your turn. Because here's the thing, the mother was in tune with the spirits because the mother originally was part of the Naboo tribe. And because of that, and because the spirits deemed the mother worthy, because she saved the father's life when they were younger, the spirits obviously realized that the daughters themselves, as they grew up, could be worthy as well. So they knew Elsa would be worthy because of the gift, the gift of the spirits, the elemental spirits that it gave her, to be that, you know, that connection, if you will, that part of that bridge. But the spirits, you have to think, also saw worthiness in Anna as being the other part of that bridge for the human world. Like Elsa is worthy of being the bridge for the spirits, Anna for the humans. And that's why I think Elsa was allowed to go further in, learn the truth, and as a result be frozen into a state of a blue ice sculpture. Sorry about that. You know, basically be frozen, like I was saying, into a blue ice sculpture, you know, while Anna was now left alone, because basically by putting Anna into the situation, as dark as it seems, Anna was being tested to prove her worth. And she basically succeeded. She proved her worth by basically acknowledging that, yes, you know, bad things are happening, but I gotta move on. I gotta do the next right thing. In fact, she has a song on it called The Next Right Big Thing, I think. What is it? What is it called? Well, let me see. The Next Right Thing, that's what it is. She realizes she's got to do the next right thing to right the wrong that the grandfather committed. And by doing so, she passes her part of the test, her part of the journey, and almost simultaneously, once she proves her worth in doing so, by having basically these rock giants, which were this elemental spirit, which were the spirit of the earth, the elemental spirit of the earth, destroy the dam, which the grandfather put up, you know, not only did she prove her worth as a leader, but but almost simultaneously, her sister was thawed out of her icy prison. Or was it a prison? I think, honestly, when Elsa got put into that blue ice sculpture, if you will, it was more like a cocoon state. Like the spirits were telling her, you did what you've done, you accomplished your goal, you deemed yourself worthy, you are ready to be the new spirit, but now here's one final lesson. As a guardian spirit, you have to let those that you guide or help do things on their own. They have to learn to do things on their own because that's sometimes, if not most times, what a spirit does. And I think that was the one final lesson for Elsa. And I believe in that cocooned state, if you will, she learned not only that lesson, but went through one final evolution to where she became this goddess-like being, if you will, with her powers enhanced and amplified like never before. So I believe when you look at the movie, look at the journey they went through, it wasn't just a journey for Elsa to discover who she is and what her destiny is, but it was also a journey for Anna as well, to discover what her destiny is and to prove her worth, just like Elsa proved hers. So I think, honestly, that's why Elsa suffered, as some people would say, or not suffer. Well, I wouldn't say suffered, but basically went through the same situation that Anna did at the end of the first film, or towards the end of the first film, and thus end up being transformed into a blue ice sculpture in the end, as a result, because it was all part of a test. It was basically that one final part of the test for both of them. One final lesson and test for both of them. You know, the test and lesson of being, if you're going to be this new spirit, you've got to learn to let those that you guide and you help do things on their own, learn the lessons on their own, prove themselves on their own. Well, at the same time, at the same time, Anna is now basically doing just that by proving that even in the dire of times, she can be a leader. She can get through the toughest of times, even and the darkest of times, you know, even when it seems hopeless. So, honestly, I think that's exactly what happened. I think that's exactly why Elsa went through the same situation that Anna did towards the end of the first film and became a blue ice sculpture. Wasn't because of a sacrifice, it was because she was put through this by the spirits to teach her one more lesson and put us through one final test. And that lesson and test is to allow those that you are close to and that you want to teach, you want to guide, you want to help, do things on their own to prove their worth. And again, when you go back to, like I said, the mother being Naboo and being connected with the spirits and being proven worthy herself, obviously, like I said, the spirits saw the same thing in the sisters and realized that both had different destinies and both were going to be the bridging gaps between both worlds. Elsa for the spiritual world, Anna for the human world. So, that's the way I see it. Because as I've mentioned before, almost simultaneously after that occurs, what happens? The moment the bridge gets destroyed by the rock giants, thanks to Anna directing them or bringing them into that area, because they're the elemental spirits of the earth, almost simultaneously what happens? What happens, huh? Elsa is freed. Elsa is thawed out. She's basically broken free of the cocoon, as I look at it, the ice sculpture cocoon that she was put in to go and basically save Allendale from destruction, thus proving overall her worth of being, now more than just a human, more than just who she was before. Because not only did she allow her sister to prove herself worthy on her own in these dire of times, but Elsa also proved herself worthy because of everything she went through before, as well as showing that she is worthy of as well as saving Ellendale as quickly as she did and commanding the elements like she did, proved herself worthy of being that connecting spirit, that bridge for the spiritual world, that guardian that is necessary. So, I know it might sound more convoluted and confusing than it should, but that's what I think. From my opinion, from what people have said, that have seen the movie, from rotoscopers, Flick in the City, Wotso videos, courtesy of Isaac, Wikipedia, Twitter, you name it, that's how I feel. That's how I see it. But what do you guys think? Let me know down below. Comment if you like. Isaac, I would like to hear your thoughts and response. What do you think of my theory on this? And, what do you think of my theory on this? Maybe respond back if you can. But let me know what you guys all think. Comment down below. I'd love to hear from you. And I am out. So comment below. And that's about it. I'm going to relax right now because I did work today. So peace out.